Morning, Christian joining.
Hey, good morning, Larry here.
Right.
So I guess we could go ahead and begin. Then fairly thin agenda, but that's fine. Um, I put a note about any announcements and so on under project updates, but we should probably talk about the work before we talk about talking about the work. Gabriel, do you want to jump in with the update on the core?
Yeah, so we completed the upgrade to release 18 for the service-based interface. So Andy helped us a lot reviewing those lots of PRs. So we end up merging all those changes. Before merging them, we tested using, of course, G.vSim. We tested with UE RunSim, and we also tested with Okudu in simulation mode. So we run multiple different tests. So uh, everything worked as expected. Again, this in this specific case wasn't about any new features. It was just migration from the service-based interface from release 15 to release 18, such that we can start kind of supporting additional features in case that community users want to upgrade there. So that is part of the roadmap that we have for the core. The next step that we have in there is to upgrade the N2 interface. And that's something that we have been working on. Well, we are about to start working on that. So we have the ASN file that we are going to use. And from the previous NGAP repository, at least we have a rough idea how everything was done. And we need to kind of work on that but as soon as we have some spare time.
So, out of curiosity, what's the biggest feature or the most important feature that you see Release 18 enabling?
So in general, which is people who are more interested from the run side, it's going to be NTN related support. That's one of the main things. There is also the models themselves are again, this is just for the service base, right? So
Right.
between the NFs, so it's internal in the NFs. The other parts, there's new releases are adding different fields, and that's basically what we are kind of now supporting on this. Of course, big thing is going to be on the N2 interface upgrade, and that's where we start exposing a lot of stuff related to NTN primary. And that's I think the Forceway team, that's what they are interested in. So
Got
they
it.
start
Got it.
opening a few PRs on that side. So, but I mean, the sooner that we can upgrade the N2 interface, the sooner that we can start kind of like going like uh, spec compliant from the perspective at the moment. The code we just kind of doing patches on top of release 15, which doesn't really support
Right.
many things.
All right. So that's probably the biggest one we'll expect first.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
All good.
so, so Gabriel mentioned testing with UE Ransom. I should just mention that I refactored the UE Ransom installation in OnRamp so that it can be installed as a Docker container and created a CI job for using UE Ransom for testing. So that's much more automated now than it used to be.
All right. So refactored UE ransom, now a container.
Yeah, that's something that, long ago, many years ago, there was somebody trying to kind of achieve this. So Andy kind of finally complete that. And that's kind of makes things simpler, at least for the deployment of UV Run Sim. So there is no need to kind of build in the source code every time that somebody wants to deploy. So everything just pulls an image that is published as part of the Okudu and images. So it's just kind of like that we are publishing the specific image in the Aether project Docker organization. Um, and yeah, so there's no waste of time kind of like trying to build everything from scratch.
Great. Thank you. Um, so that does raise then the question, which we talked about a little bit last week, um, as to how to make it known that these things are happening. So I just put the bullet announcing release 18, but um, we the TST started out as a technical organization purely. There was the larger Aether project, which included at one point marketing funds for some marketing support and other things. That has gone away. So if the TST doesn't do it, it doesn't get done. So minimally, how do we make noise about improvements and features? In this case, release 18. Are there so Christian? Are there outlets that you that are important to Intel?
Yeah, well, we could start with, LinkedIn type of messages, right? Where we describe the features, right? The new capabilities. Um,
The
of
Slack
course,
channels themselves, right?
there is a Slack channel. There is, the Ether mailing list, right, which are still active, right? So people know, people who have been previously involved at least know that, new capabilities are being added.
All right, so that certainly yeah. So if you already know about Ether, you'll know about this. Absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
so how do we get beyond the current user community? I don't, users is maybe not the right word here.
So one again will be the LinkedIn, as Christian indicated, and another thing could be if we open some kind of PR on the Okudu repository for showing kind of the integration that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that
Yes,
could be
that's a very good point. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the visibility, um, yeah, that's I think the main point. Whoops.
And really showing that with Okudu, we can, we have integrated with Okudu, right? We interoperate with them with, B10, the USRP, B210, USRP X310. We're undergoing with Benetel right now, right? So, that all these different radios and the Okudu and the SD core work, seamlessly together, right?
Mm-hmm. So I don't, Timon's not on. He was going to, I think he has access to some things like the LinkedIn account and so on. Um, I will, he may have been waiting for a little bit more confirmation that we were ready to talk about it, so we should definitely let him know. Um, other brainstorming ideas? Well, let's just make sure we do the low-hanging fruit at least.
Yeah, I think if we start with this, and again, the Okudu will be important, right?
Yeah.
Because right now, if we look at Okudu, there is just one core, which is a core from, the previous canonical people, right, Guillaume?
Yeah, but one more thing, somewhere in their documentation also they mentioned that Open5GS is their kind of official or some language like that supported in
Mhm.
core network. It's some language like that. I don't remember the specific words, but it's again that's something that we should kind of like start putting some effort in there. But
Yeah, that's
the
gonna,
easiest thing for us is Slack channels basically that we already have there, right?
right.
So. Uh,
Yeah, that's, all right, definitely do that. Um, Gabriel, I think you're in the best position to send something short out there and others can follow up, but you can speak very specifically to what's there. And I think from the developers list is maybe the right one. Um, that's what they're going to be interested in hearing.
Oh, what exactly would you like me? Would you need from my side in that case?
Well, so I think let's pick a couple channels just to make sure we get coverage. I think uh, let me bring up the channels here just to make sure I'm not forgetting one. Just a second. Well, certainly SD Core Dev and OnRamp, I think, would be two good places. So SD Core Dev has 128, I'm sorry, 800, I'm dyslexic, 281 users. on-ramp 153. So those would be two um, key channels to hit. And just say announcing that release 18 is now available. On-ramp, the deployment's been upgraded, version 4.0. The stuff that basically you have in that bullet on the list there.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Please download and let us know how it works for you or something like that.
Okay.
All right. So is there anything else to discuss? Any other new business?
Gabriel, I see the change for IMS support in SD core, right? Any update on this or?
Yeah, so from the SD code, I added some just kind of bullet pointed that we this morning with kind of like with Christian we tested some work that Suresh is primarily driving, basically making a call between two phones using the SD core. So we are kind of like the last stages of these kind of like changes tests. That's something that is coming up also soon.
Anything else? I just see that note that Ujang can't make it. All right. Brief meeting. Thanks, everyone. And let's see if we can rattle a few cages and make a little noise with this upgrade.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.